Hello everyone, welcome to the day 4 of AZ900 Bootcamp. This is an initiative of Azure Developer Community. This is Lakshit Pant, your host for today again here to bring you up our expert speaker and to introduce our today's speaker for the day. Dilip Paisa is here again to share the insights over AZ900, and today we are going to cover security and governance for identity management things. So today it's gonna be very amazing for you. And just to make a quick announcement from for tomorrow we'll be covering some questions, like what are the questions and how to approach the questions. So we'll explain you the process and the right approach to approach the questions, and we will be having a quiz also where you will be getting the swags and all these things. So do participate in tomorrow's day event too. So we'll be sharing the calendar invites with everyone. So over to you, sir. Thank you.
Uh, yeah, hi guys. Sharing my screen. So before I share my screen, we'll recap yesterday and where we saw the core architectural components. We went through the web apps, the containers. We saw what is Docker, why it is used for, and post that. The main thing when we talk about security is identity, right? So we covered the identity aspects also on why the identity used, and probably we saw AD, the B2C, B2B connects, and so on. Multiple concepts on the identity. We also saw how to give a role based access control based on the roles, how you can give the access and such topics, right? So we are with the module. So basically there were three chapters as I told you at the beginning of this session, and we are with the end chapter of the uh, end module of the easy 900. Okay. And this basically is the module where you need to manage the stuff. So when I tell manage and governance is basically what you need to run as you a customer, what you need to do, and also what Azure provides you to run the things smoothly. Okay, so that's gonna be the session for the day. So let me start with the session now. um so just give me a second, I'm sharing my screen. Yep. Okay. Um. So yes. So let's just paste this somewhere over here. Okay. I hope my screen is visible for you. Okay. Um. Yeah. So what is this management and governance? So as I told you, to run the things, you need something to be run smoothly, right? So that's when management and governance comes into picture. Okay, let's see the module outline, what's covered in it, what we are going to learn here. Yeah, the first things what is required is basically the cost and pricing calculators, right? So obviously everything comes with the cost, right? We need something to establish some policies and stuff to calculate the cost and so on, right? So that's where the management in this module you'll be seeing the various things or what as Azure provides you to manage the cost. Okay, and later the compliance policies where the blueprints, policies, resource lock, we'll be seeing what are these sometime later. And then the resource deployment tools. So basically when I tell about the Azure, we have created resource only through portal, right, or some CLI. So there are some various ways how you can interact with Azure. So that's what we'll be seeing here, and the monitoring tools at last. Okay, so this is going to be the agenda for today. Yep. Yep. So the cost management. Okay, so what is cost management? So cost management is basically a way or methods of establishing the cost. Okay, cost saving techniques or efficient way of cost to manage handling things. Okay, so that's what is cost management. Yeah, so let's see what are we going to do over here. Yeah, in this describe the factors that can be affected with the cost. Okay, that can affect the cost of the resources. Okay, pricing calculator and the total cost of ownership calculator, the cost management tool, and the tax. Okay, let's see what are these tax also. Okay, Factors affecting cost. Okay, the first thing, whenever you create a resource, okay, so there might be multiple factors that will affect that particular resource in terms of cost. The first thing is the resource type, obviously. So it means, it doesn't mean that I can just create a random resource and expect a cost to be very minimal. No, that's not the case. So first major component that will affect the cost management is basically the resource type. Okay, so costs are generally resource specific, so that the meter tracks it, okay, what you're going to do with these resources and number of access or input for this particular resources and so on. Okay, and next, the consumption. Yes, how many times you have consumed these resources. Okay, whether it's pay as you go model, which we discussed in the beginning of the session, is basically pay as you go model, right, which Azure generally does the billing on. Yeah, consumption of the model. Maintenance, yes, so maintaining basically to monitor and to do things, it basically maintenance, right? So ideally some of the resources you don't roll out any updates, that's all done by Azure itself. So here maintenance comes into picture, and basically everything is done by them, so the maintenance cost is also associated in terms of one of the factors associating the cost. Okay, so it's resource type, consumption, maintenance. Yep. Next, so geography. So geography, it's like the resources in North America might be much cheaper for me than resources accessing in somewhere in Antarctica, or resource I'm accessing from the resources in South India. Being in India, that's much cheaper for me than if I'm accessing the resources in China or somewhere there. Okay, it means that whenever you create a resource, right, you should always make sure that you place these resources somewhere near to your region. It actually affects your cost a lot. Okay, next is network traffic. Okay, so network traffic is basically inbound data, whichever coming to the Azure is free. Some of the data whichever coming to Azure resource is free, but yes, the data generated by Azure and it is sent outside, right? Might be in terms of Event Hub or one of the resource called Event Hub. It's generally used for streaming the things. Okay, like your IoT data, IoT sensors data. These are millions and millions of data. These need to be sent outside, and this is quite costly. So the outbound data is generally built for you. Okay, subscription. Which subscription are you in, and what sort of subscription you are? So when I mean subscription, right, it's not the pay as you go model. It's basically some of the guys are in association with the gold partner for uh, portal, or some of them are platinum partners with the portal, and they get the discount of probably 5%, 10% on the resources. It's just like you go to a shop, they will ask you, sir, be a member, you will get some 2 rupees discount or on every purchase, or 10 rupees discount on every purchase, and such things. Okay, so this is also one of the things affecting the Azure resource. Okay, so what and all we saw: resource, what resource type, consumption, maintenance, geography, network traffic, and subscription. Okay, so are we clear with this? So what are the facts, I mean, what are the factors affecting the cost in Azure resource? Okay, so let's see some more. Yeah, what next? Let's see how to, we already saw this, right? Azure Marketplace, we went to the portal and we saw what it does, what it is capable of doing, right? So if I just show you over here, so this is nothing but the marketplace. So resources, you can see what it does, and we have already gone through this um walkthrough, so we'll be not focusing much on this again. Yeah. Pricing calculator. So pricing calculator is one of the tool, okay, which estimates or guesses the price of that particular resources in any region. Okay, so it basically based on some of the factors, as I told you, their factors is, same thing is there here. So region, tier, the consumption model, the billing options, the support options, the maintenance and things, the any advantages or any additional programs, the testing or development prices. Okay, so let's see how to catch hold of this. Okay, so I'm just seeing that I can take the resource. So here, yep. Yeah. So I've shared one link. So let's see this exercise, okay, using the Azure pricing calculator. Okay. Okay. So see here. If I here every services is there in Azure, so I'm just choosing what services I need. Okay. And in the region how it as I told you, right, the costs factors affecting the cost, we'll just try to apply it over here. Okay. So consider I'm taking one of the services of Azure app service. Okay. So we saw the how to deploy the website and so on. Okay. So we'll see. Okay. So the basic tier is been added, upfront is 0, monthly is charging me 55 for what thing. So the region is West US, the operating system is Windows, the instance of this. So I don't want this again. I'll add additional things. I don't want all these things. So support I need support. Yes. So now what I'll do, I just don't need anything of this. I need a basic test version. Okay. I'll just go for India because since I'm in India, I'm just choosing that particular thing. India, send South India. Operating system tier is basic. I'll just go for basic one only, and basic instance this one. Okay. 730 hours of the instance I need. I don't need SSL. Okay. Support, developer, licensing, yes, I need this. It's almost 83 for me. Okay, it again depends on this. So if I just go to central India, it might be a bit less or bit more. Okay, it again depends on location to location, and from which location this is accessing. So considering NU this what I mean, if I this is taking me probably as a US guy, so it might show me this much. Okay, so these are one of the pricing calculator you can just go and see. And also I can see the storage account now. I'll let me see the storage account. I'll remove this. Yeah, storage account. So here blob storage monthly 150 it is showing. I don't want all these things. Let me just go for East US blob and all these things. Okay, Azure blob, let it be. Tier will be standard. Okay, general purpose v2, or I'll just choose blob storage only. Access is hot tier. And yesterday I mentioned you, like, the redundancy LRS, ZRS, GRS, and ZRS. Okay, so I'll just go for LRS for now. Just I want a local replication of data. Capacity, let it be 1000 GB. Pay as you go. Okay, write operation is 10 per this. And list and create operations, date require, support, developer. Okay, and I'm getting some $29 for here. Similarly, if I change this to the cool tier, it'll be 58 dollars. So it means that for saving and accessing it is more. So what I'll do here, write operation is this, and I'll read operation is probably less. I'll do it. The price will be less over here. Okay, let's see. Wait. Okay, it's almost 58. So generally this is how you calculate the prices of various resources in Azure. Okay, so let's see what's next. Total cost of ownership is basically tells you what is the total cost that Azure has incurred, right? So when so in case of the on premises, it was costing you 30 probably 3 lakh dollars, some above. But here it's costing you 5 lakh 95. Here it was calling some 3 million probably. Here it's calling that costing 5 lakh 95,000. Okay, so it generates a report based on the various things. Okay, so here basic major cost is incurred using the data center, 2% for networking and 4% for storage. But here data center cost is 0 because Azure is managing the data center, and 7% for computing charges, 43 for networking because inbound and output networking charges it has to do, and 50% for the storage. Okay, so this is one of the other tool that just gives you the total cost of ownership. It just gives a good breakup of the ownership. Okay, so open this. I'm defining the workloads over here, so I'm just sending it here also in this chat. So whenever you are planning for a Azure resource, right? So currently we are in a learning phase, so that's fine. But when we are going to a architect level and we need to do some research and some POCs, or we need to implement the services, we need these. Why? So you might think, why is this required and all, right? But when you go to a certain position, right, you might need to convince the management that, okay, why this is required, why you are going to spend so much cost on this. So you might be able to take architectural as well as the management decision also, which includes the cost. So that's when these things comes into picture. Okay, so yep. So see here, define a workload. I'm just using a web app. Virtual machines, okay, environment is virtual machine, operating system is standard, one VM, hyper-v, one course, and so on. Databases, I'll just use SQL Server. Let me just go for this. Okay, and 1 GB, let it be all of these. Destination SQL database again, vCore, and so on. So storage, blob, accessibility, let it be all these things. I'm just next. Okay, just assumptions, let it be like this. Hardware cost, so these are the assumptions. You can just reduce it, so let it be how it is for now, like this only. Okay, and see, this is the cost for what is the on-premises cost. It will give me what is the Azure cost in 5 years. It will give me. Okay, see the difference, like 44,000 with whatever the values which were there, right? There were many values like hardware costs and stuff and all, but here I just kept the same thing. I just didn't go to edit whatever it was there. I just clicked on next, next, next. Okay, so here if you see, here in on premises with whatever the SQL standard license and whatever it was there, right, we have given, it gave me 44,719, but here it is giving me 13,108. So you see the difference between cost. Yes, so that is the power of Azure and total cost of ownership. Okay, so here's how the cost is divided. So 75%, 74% of cost is divided over compute. Yes, 10% over data center, 5% over networking, 1% over storage, 9% for the labor. But in terms of Azure, you see here, compute remains the same. Data center becomes zero, zero becomes, networking becomes zero, storage becomes high. Yes, because you are going to use the storage extensively to store all this data. But the labor charges also depends the zero. Okay, so see here the bill. Yeah, so this is how you can also do and play around the services. Okay, so this is the total cost of ownership. Yeah, so let me see. Okay, I'll go a bit slow. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so in Azure cost management, it just shows you the portal of how you can manage the cost of where you are charging much, where you are getting charged much, and so on. Okay, so how to see that? Okay, so you just go to the portal. Okay, so you can just go to the portal, you can just go to the subscriptions and see which subscription you are in. Okay, so you just need to go to the portal, see the subscription. Once you click on the subscription, you can get the details. So last, I don't have any invoices for now because I'm under the free tier or something. Okay, so here you can see the cost estimations, the total cost by the resource. For the workstation resource which I had showed you, right, one of the VMs, it is charging me 236 rupees, and other things and all. So spending rate, it's bit loading, so let's see how much it'll, how much time it'll take to load. Yeah, so starting credit is 10.9k and remaining credit now is 10.35. So my forecast will be around, probably monthly utilization is around 1.5k they have keeping. So this might be um the spending limit for my services. Okay, so you can see here the cost analysis. Forecast is unavailable, but actual cost is for some this you saw the estimation of forecast as 1005, 1.5k or something, so that's why it is showing here. So accumulated cost is this much. Okay, for the different services. So you can, here you can see for storage 457, for the virtual network 60 rupees I have used based on the location. Again, for this IN So for the resources in the central location, I have spent 518 rupees. Okay. So whole thing is for the central location only. So you can see here, US East is 0.08 rupees, South India is 0.05 rupees, Asia is less than 0.1 rupees. So these are the various cost analysis on your location wise. Yeah, resource group, workstation resource group is the most consumed resource. Why? Because I'm having a virtual machine over there. Okay, so this is one of the things. And cost alerts also you can keep. Okay, I have no alerts, so I can add some alerts, like I can add a budget and so on for the monthly, right? If my monthly budget cost goes above probably 5k, send a mail or something like that, don't allow me creating other resources and so on. Okay, so that also you can set over here. Okay, so you can also have the Azure advisory recommendations, like where you are spending the most, what you can do to spend less and so on. So this is the cost management tools which Azure only provides you to control your like limit your expenditures, or it will give you a good tool to track your expenditures and so on. Yeah, so what next? So all these are basically the cost and governance services. Okay, so tax. Okay, so this is one of the important chapter in or one of the important concepts in terms of resources. Okay, so what this does, it just gives you a tag for a resource. Okay, so it means that I'm just associating a resource with a tag. Okay, so as I told, one resource, what I'll do, I'll just go here and I'll just go to one of the resource. Okay, so this storage account is there. So here what I'll do, I'll just add a tag. So name will be cost center, and this will be marketing. Okay, and now keep true, I'll keep. So I have associated two tags with this. So what's the use of tags over here? So it's just a key value pair, if you observed. So one thing is for billing I can use, right? So in billing, it's basically I can just set up a billing only if I like all every resource will be charged equally. So that's not the issue. But I can just tell that, okay, give me the only, like while analyzing the cost, I can just ask the Azure to give me the only resource with this cost center of marketing department only. So that's when tax comes in. Also keep true. So consider one more scenario. Okay, I have a job, I have a background job which deletes the unused resources in every 1 hour. So one some resource group I'll create for every deployment. I'll create one resource group, but some resource might be important. Okay, so that resource I'll keep attached to. So why this true is, so this job will delete the resources for every 1 hour. So whatever resource I want, I'll just make it true, so that it will know, okay boss, when the tag is true, don't delete it. So this is also one of the other usage of tags. Okay, so it is basically to organize your resources. Yeah, it's just a metadata, not anything actual data doing today. It's just a metadata. It's just like a name, normal name with associated with the key value pair. Okay, you can do this at a resource group level, also at a resource level. Okay, clear? So if you have any doubt, please let me know in terms of tags or anything till now. Okay, we'll go to the next chapter of governance and compliance. Okay, so here let's see the purpose of blueprints, the policies, resource group, and something called a service trust portal. Okay, so blueprints are nothing but a outside copy. Okay, so you might have seen the construction worker having a blueprint of a building, right? So what they'll do, first they will go create a building, create a blueprint, and construct according to that blueprint only. Like the room should be this much, the height should be this much, the parking space should be this much. So these are sort of the policies, right? Or the rules, how you want to make it true, or how you want your building to be looked, right? That's the what the blueprint is, right? Okay, Vinay has asked me what is metadata. I'll just come to this question. I'll just explain the blueprints and I'll come back to this question. Okay, um Yeah. So basically, with blueprints, what will happen is, um, like you have the policies, you build according to the policies only. Okay, so why this is used, like whenever a development team, so as an architect you design a blueprint, whenever a developers comes they can just follow this blueprint and create a resource accordingly. So consider one of the blueprint is every resources should be in Europe region, or every resources should be in India region. So resource capacity should be under dev tier for you guys. Such things are the rules. Okay, so they will set this. So how to do this? Okay, so you can just go to the portal, type blueprints, you can create a blueprint over here. Okay, okay, in the meanwhile, I'll answer Vijay's question. So that is, what is metadata? So metadata is nothing but a supporting data. Okay, so it doesn't have to do anything with actually the data of the system, but it's just something supporting. So whenever you are doing some programs or anything, right, you might need some supporting data which might not be in the actual data of the system or the resources. That's when the supporting data comes into picture. So metadata acts as a supporting data. Okay, so I hope I answer your question. Yep. So you so you can see the blueprint right over here. So this is how you can just start with the blank blueprint, or see here there are already there the benchmark set, the CA foundation blueprint, so something for the Canada federal policies, or Australian government ISM protected. The samples are already there, you just need to assign the things for that, so it will only create a blueprint for you. So I'll just create a blueprint name. Okay, so I'll artifacts allowed location for resource group. I told you right, which are the allowed location for resource group. You can select over here, or it will only give it the Australian government protected. Under this subscription it will just give you all the data. Okay, so I'll just save the draft. I can add multiple other policies, I can define my custom policies and so on. So this is basically a policy assignment. So what is policy assignment? Policy assignment is nothing but assigning a policy, like I need it in this way and you have to do it in this way. Okay, so that is um, nothing but the blueprints. Okay, so now next thing, so it's saved already. So assign blueprints. Okay, it will just take some time. Yeah, so Vijay has asked how this metadata supports or act as a tag. So I think I just showed you, right? In case of this one resource, I created one tags. So this is nothing but metadata. So this tag that tells that the storage account Dilip Pai, that is associated with the cost center. That cost center is marketing. Okay, and I will tell that this is one important resource, so by any chance don't delete this. So this is how I'm associating it or acting, making the tag for it. Okay, so this acts as a metadata, so that whenever something comes up I can easily fetch the things from this particular data. Okay, so that's how it can act as a metadata and it can act as a tag. Okay. Yep. So policies, we already saw that, right? How it created own policies. Policies are nothing but the set of rules. Okay. So set of rules in the sense, I like for networking, it should not expose port 80 by default. All these things are set of rules. So why this it's useful is basically it helps. Okay, it helps to enforce the organizational standards. Okay, and to assess the compliance. Okay, so basically when auditing takes place, you need to have a compliance in place and so on. So that's when Azure policy comes into picture. You can assign your custom policies or you can take the policies from there also. Okay, so it also gives a built-in initiative. As I told you, by default this policy, this like port 80 should not be exceeded and so on. Okay, so this is how the policies comes into picture. You can apply it to various other things like storage, networking, compute, security center and monitoring. Okay, so the for this built-in support is already there. Yeah. Okay. Resource logs. So resource log is basically if you delete a resource by accident or anything, right? So there might be a loss, right? So someone, what he will do, he'll directly come, he'll just once we used to do it, okay, before. What used to happen is whenever you're not in whenever you see that your resources are piled up, right, what used to go, my resources, delete resource group, and so on. But there might be a case where my resource is really important, right? So that's when you can add one of the tags or a resource logs for this resources. Okay, you can achieve it via tags also, you can do it, but there is a dedicated service for this, also known as resource logs. Okay, so it basically you can manage the logs at the subscription level, resource group level, or the individual resource levels, okay, within the portal. Okay, so you can just go here. So there are the types of logs over here. So you see, um, read, update, and delete. So log types. Okay, so in delete, so if delete resource lock is applied, so what you can do is basically read, yes, update, yes, but you can't delete the resources. Read only, you can just read the resources, but you can't update, not delete the resources. Okay, so you can just do that also. Okay, so let's see if we can set it. Okay, so here you are, right? So you can set it on the management level also. So what you can do is access control. One of the easiest way is basically you can just go ahead and do over here. Okay, I can deny access for anyone. Okay, so that's how I can do it. So I'll just add a role assignment. So I'll just give him reader, select members. So here again we are using Prajwal. I will just add Prajwal and I'll just review and assign. So it means that now Prajwal can't command even read the resources also. Okay, so that's how resource locking takes place in Azure. Okay, so you can do it in this way also. Okay, so or you can just go to logs. So that is one of the thing, and also you can go to logs, and I can add a lock. Lock name is read only lock. Okay, read only, and now I don't want this to be updated or deleted. Okay, I'll just do it. I'm applying just on a storage account, on a resource level I'm applying. Okay, this lock. So now it's applied. So what I'll do, I'll just go to this storage account and I'll try to delete this. See, failed to delete a storage account because a lock is already there for it. Okay, so this is one of the things in compliance it will come, or governance it will come. Okay, so that you don't accidentally delete the stuff. Yeah, so we did this. Okay, so now that resource is quite important for me. I'll not be testing with that resources. So what I'll do, I'll just go to this. Where is that? Yesterday I created resource groups and on AZ 900. Okay, so here I can add the logs first. Read only, let it be. Okay, I'll try to delete it now. So it's already locked. So I'll just come back here. Already set the lock. Yeah, so we'll just go logs. Where is manage logs? I'll just plug in the charger. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so you can see the delete lock is there already here. I have already given it. So what I'll do, I'll just delete this lock. Okay, and I'll again go to this. I'll type this and I'll try to delete a resource group now. No, this lock and tags purpose are same, right? Partially yes, partially no. Tags can be utilized for multiple other stuffs also. So tag can be used for pricing and other calculations or billing calculations and so on to find the categories. But locks are specifically to avoid the deletion. That's it. You can, so with tags I can just avoid the deletion by manually, or any automation stuff I can just do it like. Uh, when a job is running, I can tell it, okay boss, delete only the resources where keep is false or keep tag is not there. And also, but when someone's automation it will do. But with logs I'm hard forcing it, okay don't delete it. Okay, with tag someone comes and tries to delete that resources with that tag, deletion is possible. But with logs it's like hard, I'm imposing a rule, okay don't delete it. Okay, so that's the difference between tags and logs. Okay, so service trust portal is one of the portal where you can just see the compliance, trust, and security. So it's a public site, so anyone can go and have a look at it. Okay, so um, nothing much. So it's basically it's the compliance, how Azure manages the compliance, and so on. Okay, okay, management and deployment options. So basically this is one of the more important chapter in terms of deployment and stuff. Okay, so management and deployment tools. So we already saw what is the portal, right? So when this comes, when you want to create a resource or create things, manage the things, so how this can be done, one of the easiest way was the portal, right? We already saw it, creating the portal. Also we saw some other components. If you remember, we saw the sandbox or the CLI. If you guys remember, right, CLI, we installed the CLI, we type az command and so on, right, in the first class, second class. So all these are basically interacting with Azure. So it's interaction with Azure. So the ways are Azure portal, the PowerShell, the Cloud Shell, and the CLI. So we saw this and this. Okay, um so the what is Cloud Shell? So this is something new thing, right? So how to see that? You just need to go to your Azure and you see this particular icon over here. So that is Cloud Shell. So it just gives you a flavor of interacting with Azure, but with the commands into the Azure only. So you need not install the tools explicitly. Okay, so this is when the Azure Cloud Shell is used. Okay, so one more thing is Azure Arc. So basically, when you want to combine both on-prem and cloud services, when you want to deploy the cloud services onto the on-prem, then you can use Azure Arc. So you can see over here, right? There might be some of the resources in Azure like Kubernetes and everything. Okay, I'll answer you, Vijay, just a second. So, Kubernetes or virtual machine, and these are the resources in Azure. And I want this to be interacted or this to be deployed onto the local locations, like consider at the local location, or I want to interact these services with a local location. Then I'll go ahead and use Azure Arc. Okay. So that's a local management tool, sort of a local management tool, Azure Arc. Okay. Now, Vijay is asking that sandbox and CLI is same. No, CLI is sandbox is just for you to test. Okay, it just gives you environment for you to test. But CLI is actually a command line interface where you can interact with Azure. So you can just download it on your system and you can interact with it. Okay, but sandbox is just a specific environment valid for 1 hour. Okay, so that's the difference between sandbox and CLI. Okay, so ARM templates. So what is ARM? So basically, all of you, anyone have an idea of JSON templates? You might have heard JSON templates in your classes or anywhere. Um, yep. So I'll come back to you, Vijay, again. Yeah. So JSON templates is basically JavaScript object notations. Okay. So these are nothing but a JSON. So how it will be? I'll just show you JSON template. Okay, so it will be something like this. like ID category, it will be just the sort of JavaScript which is very easy to understand. Okay, so ARM is nothing but the Azure Resource Manager. It's a template, so it's basically a files which tells you what to do. It's in a JSON format. Okay, so now what you do is you go to Azure, you just give a instruction for that. Okay, boss, I need this JSON template. You just give a JSON template for it. Okay, just execute these files or create these resources, and you execute it. So it will not read the create resource, and also based on the template it will read what is required and what's not required, and does automates the creation of resource accordingly. So let's see how the resource group. So consider I'm creating a resource group. Okay, so now I'm just going to deployment. Okay, or I can just automation. Where is the automation part? Yes, export template. Okay, this is deleted. I'll just go to another so it will generate a template for me. Okay. mm, it'll take some time. Okay. Okay, till then I'll explain Arc again. Okay, so consider this scenario. Okay, where you want to build a cloud native scenario or cloud native operations. So but it should be a cloud agnostic, so it means that I develop something, it should run on any cloud environment or any local environment. Okay, consider a Kubernetes. Okay, so Kubernetes is not specific to Azure, right? It might be specific to anything. Now what will happen is I want to build it, but I don't want it to be specific to Azure only. So in this case what I'll do is I'll go and use the Azure Arc. So Azure Arc acts as a bridge, not only specific to the cloud. So you develop here, you can deploy this in any environment. So that's when Azure Arc comes into picture. Okay, so I think I answered your question, Vijay. Okay. So if you see here, this is the JSON file. Now, if I just copy this file and give it to you, you change your names accordingly, right? You can deploy this file, this particular folder, and create a resource group in your subscription. So that is what ARM template is. So it's a Azure Resource Manager. So it's basically creates and manages your resource. One more example of why ARM is required. Um, Consider I have multiple teams. Okay, I have multiple teams and multiple environments. Okay, and like production environment, dev environment, QA environment, and all the three environment should have the same resources, similar resources. Now as an administrator I can't go ahead and create a resource, create this and all these things. I can't do it manually, right? So what I'll do, I'll write this script. Okay, I need a resource group. Inside this resource group I need this resources. Now when I deploy it, I'll just change the environment name. Okay, when I deploy it, I'll just tell, okay, for dev I need a virtual machine, this memory, and so on. Done, I'll deploy it. Done, virtual machine in dev environment is created. I'll deploy, I'll write the same thing. Just I'll change the name, QA. Deploy, boom, done. New resource group is created for QA environment. Development, prod environment, prod, name change to prod, done, boom, new resource is created. So this is when your automation comes into picture, and ARM plays a major role in creation of resources. Yes, there are alternatives for this like Terraform, which is cloud agnostics, not specific to Azure, but still you can use ARM for learning purposes and so on. Okay. So how it is done, so all the things basically creates a ARM template for you only. It just interacts with the ARM only. So by the portal, by the PowerShell CRI, internally it creates a template and interacts with the resources and creates the resources. So this is just the architectural diagram. Okay, so I told you why this ARM comes into place. Okay, syntax is there for repeatable results, as I told you, right? Multiple environments, I can orchestrate the things. Okay, I can validate the stuffs also. Okay, I can give this code to anyone so that they can also create the similar set of resources. So this is when Azure Resource Manager comes into place. Yeah, so this is the management tools. First thing, let's see what is Azure Advisor. Okay, so Azure Advisor is basically analyzes and optimizes the things and gives you suggestions for the best practices to optimize or for the better performance of the resources. Okay, it helps you to make a reliable system, secure system, better performance, effective, and operational excellence as well. How to do this? Yeah, so just let's go to portal again. I'll just type Azure Advisor. So you see here, my cost score is good, advisor score is 100, so it doesn't have any requirements for me. But security, it has some suggestions. There should be more than one owner assigned to the subscription, which currently is not. Only I am owner to the subscription. Microsoft Defender for DNS should be enabled. Okay, I don't have that. So all these are the suggestions. So these give suggestions to improvise the cost, security, the reliability. So it's the, it says use NAT gateway for outbound connectivity. It makes a better reliable connection. Okay, more available connection for the system. Okay, performance, no suggestions, all recommendations. So total I have 26 recommendations based on the security and reliability. Okay, so this is what the advisor is, and this gives you a score of 100%. Okay, for me currently it's score of 100%. Yeah, you can just do a better operational excellence and so on. Okay, so Azure Advisor. And next, Azure Services. So basically, whenever a service is created for you, you can monitor its health accordingly. Yeah. So it basically shows you the status across the all regions, right? So consider, I'll just see whether I can find it. There is one page where you can see the resources which is up and which is down across the all regions. Okay, so I'll just try to find it. In the meanwhile, other resources are like service health. So consider you I'm using a resource group or a storage account, probably it's down. It just gives you a mail saying that okay, this is down and you might experience downtime and so on. The resource health, like particular resource like a storage account or a database is down and so on. Okay. Oh, operational excellence is just a terminology. Like it's just a score, like how you can excel in your operations and so on. It's just a score or how you can improvise in terms of operations. So currently, for my um subscription, I don't have any operational excellence suggestion, but you can find it in any actually professional user subscriptions. Okay, so that is just a score and suggestions. Yep. Okay, Azure Monitor is basically gives you better telemetry data on the when it was available, what was the uh, metrics is coming into picture and so on. So these telemetry data is given by the Azure Monitor. Okay, some of the tools for Azure Monitor are application insights, log analytics, smart alerts that this is down and so on. You can also do a customized dashboards and automatic actions also you can take based on the um, results. Okay, so I'll just show this. So you see here, this is the monitor. So it's divided into three things. Okay, matrices, logs, and traces. Logs are general day-to-day data. Matrices are nothing but consider this is down, this database operation has take place, and this database operation is down. Such things are basically um, for you divide the logs basically into matrices, logs, and traces. Traces are some error scenarios and so on. Okay, so once you do this, you can just experience, I mean, you can send it to probably application inside some containers, a VM, or so on. You can visualize this using dashboard, Power BI, Grafana dashboard, Datadog, or anything. You can analyze this, where it went wrong, where it might go wrong, like in certain operation, certain time this was down, and tomorrow it might be down again at the same time. So next 3 days you can analyze the um, pattern. Okay, respond, you can send your response like okay, this was down, please cooperate for some time to your counterparts or the customers. Okay, also you can base auto scale, like load us more so the resource shut down, so you can just auto scale it. Okay, load us more, I'll auto scale it to 5 instances. Okay, integrate is basically the event streaming platforms. You can integrate with the event hubs, logic apps, and import this, import and export it to whatever platform you want. So this is what Azure Monitor does for you. Okay, so you can just see here. So I'll just go to portal again. I'll just go to one of the resources. I'll just go to my VM. Okay, so you can see the monitoring section, right? So I can see the insights over here only. I So no alerts as of now, but if any alerts are there, you can see over here only. Okay, compute part, if I just see virtual machine, it was all good, so no particular insights it was there. Yeah, so here only sometimes you can see, or here what I can do, I'll just go to insights again. Okay, I have not enabled any insights, so alerts also I can customize it. Okay, enable recommendation alert rules, so I can create a alert rule. I'll just go to create a alert rule and add a condition. Okay, signal type, so metrics. Okay, and all platform, so I'll just available CPU credits consumed, I'll add this metrics. Okay, and greater than 100, then send me a mail or something to do like this. Okay, I'll just create a alerts, I'll just go and create a action and so on. Okay, so multiple services are there. Okay, matrices are there, so you can see the matrices credit consumed. I think I didn't use this for quite a long time, so IOPS, it's all null, else you'll get a good graph, good amount of graph actually, how this is consumed. Okay, so these are the different monitoring tools and suggestions provided by Azure. Okay, so we have come to an end with of module 3. So if you guys have any questions, please post in, or else we will catch up tomorrow with some hands-on questions and how to target, how to eliminate the, or how to answer these questions effectively in the certifications. Okay, so if you guys have anything to ping, just go ahead, else we'll catch up tomorrow. um okay, logs, metrics and traces. Okay, so as I told you, metrics are basically something related to machines, right? So if I just see over here, these are the matrices, right? So virtual machine host metrics might be data disk bus, IOPS, or number of CPU units consumed, number of messages in a queue. So these are nothing but a matrices, like a quantifiable measure, you can measure them. Okay, logs are nothing but day to day data, right? So day to day data is basically uh okay, someone hit this API, someone did this operation failed and so on. So this is nothing but the logs. Okay, traces are nothing but the application request, so basically this application request failed here. Okay, or I can tell that um oh, how? Okay, it probably gives a better flow, how the application is flowing through. Okay, how the application is flowing through, what it does. Okay, so like what, which function you're doing, what are the parameters used, what are the parameters passed in this particular traces and so on. It gives you, it's a part of logging but more detailed way of logging the system, so that is traces. Yeah, I hope I answered your question, Vijay. Okay. So Azure Migrate is one of the services which you want to migrate the things, when you want to migrate the things from on-prem or on total. So there are multiple migration services, but when you want to migrate the services, right, then you migrate the data, right? When then you can go ahead and use the Azure Migrate things. Okay. So I think I had explained it earlier. So it only it is a kind of hub. Okay. So if I just see here, okay, so you can just go here, you can just select the database, you can create create a project, you can just add. So it kind of hub of all in one. You can just select whatever resources you want, okay, and you can migrate it easily. Like database, you want to migrate the servers, or you migrate to want to VDI or web apps, anything, you can do it over here. You can set the goal and migrate the stuffs over here. Here you can see a data box. So data box is like a actual box, okay. Whenever you choose data box, so Azure will ask you the address and they will send you the data box, okay. So this is used when no connectivity or zero connectivity is there. So what you do, you just add the, you create a data box, I mean you get a data box, you plug in with your system from on-prem, you transfer all your data and give it back to Azure person. He will take it and they will take care of the migration stuff. So that is the data box. um Yep. So I'm done for today. So any more questions we can. Yeah, I'll be sharing this slide details with Lakshit, so he'll be sharing it with you all. So I'll be sharing it in some time. Okay.
So Vijay, you will be getting these slides over your mail, and you will be also getting the rest of the slides today because today our learning part has been completed. So you'll get all these slides to tomorrow tomorrow morning, or maybe today in some time you will be get these slides through your mail. So keep checking your mail. All the slides of AZ900 bootcamp will be provided to you on your mail. And there is a very big announcement from my side. So all everyone, those who are here, you need to present for tomorrow because there is a quiz scheduled for you all, so that you need to participate in that quiz, and there are some Microsoft merchandise in that quiz. So if you are, so the course, the syllabus is all what Dilip sir has covered. It's just basic of AZ900. There will be some basic questions of our around the AZ900. So just need to participate in that quiz, and top three will be getting some Microsoft merchandise. So all you need to do is just participate in that quiz, and if anyone has any doubt or anything, you can just ask tomorrow too. So this is all from our side. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining in, and you'll be getting a mail soon about the details of our previous sessions, also the YouTube links, and along with this Google slides. So you'll be getting all these things over your mail. So keep checking your mail. And yeah, this is all from my side. Yeah, I just wanted to share the Discord server link. So this is the link that you need to join. So guys, please join this Discord server link because this is the mandatory for everyone. So here are some incredible experts are here in the Discord group who can help you out getting a roadmap of cloud or making your cloud query solved and everything. So you can just join this Discord channel, and you can just get benefited, or maybe you can get Azure free credit voucher. So you must have seen today how much essential all these Azure credits are, like $100 and all these. So we have all these giveaways where we provide everything for free. You can just participate in some of the contributions that we initialize. You can just get all these credits for free. So this is all from our side, and thank you, Dilip sir, giving your precious time. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining in.
Thank you guys. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Yeah, thank you, sir. Bye.